Hey Fit Fathers, this is your official invitation to come to our first ever conference called Fit Father, Fit Mother Live. Join us in August 2025 for 3 transformational days designed to help you overcome one of life's greatest obstacles, staying consistent and motivated with your health amidst the challenges of life. At Fit Father, Fit Mother Live, we're bringing together world-class health experts to help you become more focused, more disciplined, and take your results to the next level. Day 1 of the event focuses on mindset and mental health, because as you know, real change starts in your mind. We'll give you strategies to reduce stress and unlock greater discipline, motivation, and mental clarity. Day 2 focuses on physical health and longevity. You'll hear from top doctors and experts on the latest methods to speed up your fat loss, build muscle, enhance your longevity, and overcome obstacles like nagging injuries. Day 3 is all about the power of community and accountability. You'll make real connections with like-minded fit fathers and fit mothers who will become your friends and support you long after this event ends. We'll also have dozens of top-tier health companies on-site as vendors, showcasing the latest products, technologies, and innovations to support your health journey. This is so much more than just a conference. This event is your chance to connect with your fellow fit family, to recharge your batteries on an unbelievable wellness vacation, and take your fitness results to the next level. Don't miss out on the best fitness event of 2025. Register now at fitfatherproject.com/2025 to secure your spot today.
Welcome to another Fit Father Project member chats. I am Kat. I'm an accountability coach here at the Fit Father Project. We have a great episode for you today. We have 2 members here who have had success on the program and then fell off the train a little bit and then jumped back on and did a restart and are finding success again. This is such a common topic for our members and questions that they ask, so I wanted to bring in 2 experts. So here we go. I will toss it over to Craig Taylor so he can give a quick introduction of himself.
Hi, I'm Craig Taylor. I live in Indiana. I found Fit Father Project back in 2017 and had great success, lost over 100 pounds, did some incredible things, learned I love to run, which I never thought I would ever say, a whole bunch of stuff. And it was a great 3 years. And then 2020 hit and I injured my back, had to have back surgery, got into my head. And ever since then, I've been up and down. And I'm on my way back down again. And it's hard when you get your momentum taken away, but you just have to get back on it. And I've not always been the best at that. So working on it again.
Awesome. And we'll dive more into that. Tom, let's go with you.
And I am Tom. I'm been part of Fit Father since 2000. I can't remember if it was 18 or 19. Basically, I did about 6 months in the program and lost about 50 pounds in the program then. And then now I have been kind of recommitted for just about exactly 2 years. So since 2022 in January to now in January of 24, and have lost 170 pounds. And so I'm down to 230, came in at over 402 and down to 230. So those are my current stats.
Incredible. Okay, let's talk about it. So you both started the program. You started to have some success. What happened? So Craig, you had a back injury, right? That's what tossed you. Tom, for you, what tossed you off the track the first time?
I think more than likely, I think it was 2019, and then lost some of the weight, and then ended up stopping in 20, right? And so just truly just the COVID stop and everything along those lines. And then it was really hard to just kind of pick it back up, because once you kind of stop doing it, it is constantly, you just start beating yourself up and be like, well, I guess this is the new me, right? This is that was too hard. That was not something I can do. Obviously, that wasn't. I'm not a winner. Can't do those sort of things. So,
yeah.
I will say that having back surgery during COVID was a double whammy, because at first everybody was so scared because we had no clue it was coming. Just kind of returned to comfort food, and since I was already in pain and couldn't work out, it was a double whammy.
Yeah, so you're off, right? And the first time that you start a program, you're really excited. You don't really know what to expect, right? You don't know it's going to be really hard or really easy. Like, you don't know. So there's a lot of momentum there. Jumping back in, most of our members write in talking about what that mental block feels like, right? You know what to expect. So I'd love to talk about with the two of you how you got past that mental block or how you continue to work through that mental block. We'll start with Craig this time.
I may not be the best one to answer that because I haven't fully gotten over that. I keep going back and forth. Last summer I was on the 200 again, and now I'm back up to 220. A little bit less than that now, but I've already lost 10 or 11 pounds. So I regained again. Christmas month is always bad for me. My goal every year is to finish December lighter than when I start December, and I've never made that goal, but it's still a goal someday. So really, it's always about finding the why, the long-term why. And I'm real good at short-term whys. I haven't seemed to have been real good at long-term whys yet. So that's what I'm really focusing on this year, this time around. Want to find, I have whys. I have my grandkids now. I have my own family. I have a 14-year-old daughter who I want to help walk down the aisle and all that stuff yet. So I have long-term whys, but somehow or another, the temporary things keep breaking in and blocking those. So finding that long-term why, and then the rhythm that works for me, because I tend to go all in and then all out. So finding the happy medium, I think will be helpful to me. And I've kind of gotten there as long as I don't just stop again. And then there's the whole beating myself up and always questioning, can I do this for the long haul? And I've been there. I shouldn't have to do this again. And there's just so many things. So a lot of it truly, and I've said it, I probably told you, Kat, and I've told others, but it's giving myself grace. I can give grace to everybody else. I just can't do it to myself. So that's another thing that I'm working on, just kind of be able to do that.
Craig, this is an interesting point. I think so much of the time when we're parents, because both of you have beautiful families, our whys are kind of around other people, right? Because those people are so important to us that they are part of us, right? They are us. But one piece that I think when you maybe have like older children who are grown or whatnot, is that members do better with, is the why is focused around them. And it's a weird pull because I think I have children. My whys surround around my kids a lot, right? I want to be a wonderful mother. But then pushing yourself to make a why that is you. I want to do this because I don't want to be on cholesterol medication. I don't want to, whatever, I'm making that up, right? But some why that is about Craig. That your children are you. But you as just a human, right? What is that why that is just your specific goal? And so I would push you to lean in and think about that. And it's really difficult as a parent, because it almost feels selfish, right? But I want you to be selfish. And I want members listening, when you're trying to make a why, make those beautiful family goals, but also make those goals that are just you. No one else included in it, because you will be a better parent because you've elevated and stuck to those goals.
That's true. When you say that, I think about to my first time around when I was constantly on the downward. I was selfish, and I told my family I was going to be selfish. And I've told other people that that's how I was successful. It's for a time I had to be selfish and focus on me. And I think that's something I've gotten away from. So that's a really good point. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to wrap this podcast up. That was great.
Sorry, Tom.
I'm totally kidding. Okay. Yeah. Tom's like, all right, I'm out of here. Okay. So for Tom, for you, I think your mental pieces were a little different, right? So can you talk to us about what your mental hurdle was like coming back in?
Yeah, I think it was wrapping my mind around just getting back into it, right? And doing it and kind of figuring out, I think for me, as a bigger guy when I first started in 19. And so the weight came off it was coming off at a decent clip. right? It comes off fairly fast, right, at the beginning sort of thing. And I think anyone who really works this program specifically, the Fit Father Project, Fit Mother Project, it's science-based. There are so many tools that are kind of given to you. You're going to end up with results if you work the program as it is written. Like it's just inescapable. If you work how it is, you're going to get some results. And so I knew that there was an answer, right? And so I knew that there was something that I could turn to that I had some results with. And then if you do some lurking, whether it be on the app or the Facebook page, and kind of watch what other people are doing, even if you're doing nothing else in the program, and just watch, right? And I think that you see other people getting results, right? And they're not doing anything weird or crazy that they've come up with on their own. They're literally following the program. And everyone's individualizing the program so that it works for them, right? I think that that's the best part about this program, is that there are so many tools that are kind of thrown at you that you kind of develop your own father, mother program that kind of is the thing, right? Like that you can buy into.
Yeah.
So at some point in 21, I basically told my wife, I said, I'm going to do this, and it's going to happen. Like, this is the switch that I have. Like, I know what I'm going to do it. And then I think that the big goals are all around, the family, right? The big goals are being there for other people. That's the kind of person, that's generally in this program, is somebody who's there for other people. The day-to-day goals are the selfish goals, right? I'm going to go work out, right? I'm going to go, I'm going to go spend a half hour of my day every half hour. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom because I'm drinking so much water that I'm not used to. So all of those things end up being selfish, possessions, but really the big thing is the only belief comes from having seen that people do it or having had the success. So anybody who's worked this program has seen some success come from it. And so that's where, the just foundational belief in the program comes from, as opposed to the cyclical diet stuff, knowing that there is something that does work, right? Like, it's not like I'm looking for the next magic bullet.
Yes. That was such a beautiful way to put the goals too, right? That's something we can think about, as I have these big family goals, long-term goals, but then those day-to-days, that's perfect, right? I'm going to set a goal. I don't know if I'm going to be successful for a week, but I'm going to be successful this hour. I'm going to do something for myself this hour. Oh, I made it through this hour. I'm going to be successful next hour too, right? Like in building. That's wonderful. Selfish, small daily goals add up to the big family goals. I love it. That's wonderful. Now, you guys talked about the belief, right? In knowing you could do it, right? You knew it was there. Was there ever a fear? Members will write in too, for the other half of that is, you can do it and have success, but now since you have fallen off, that voice in your head of well, are we just going to fall off again? Right? That I think is really difficult for members. Do either of you have any tips for someone who is struggling with that?
Yeah, first off, it's hard, right? Just name it. It's hard, right? If you're someone who's battled with weight, it's hard. And more than likely, you've battled with it for years. Weight gain isn't something that happens in just a week, working the program consistently over 2 years, right? I'll see the weight go up and down over that time, but it's not oh, this is the new standard, right? It's oh, I have the tools. I'm going to push the tools a little harder and they will come down. But before program, I had things that would work, and then it didn't work on the mental piece, didn't work on all the other strengthening, the daily habits and strengthening the why and all of those things. It was more looking for the magic solution, right? What's the magic thing I can do to lose the weight and like just be down, right? And looking for an easier path. So I think naming that it's hard and that I'm going to do hard things because I know that I can do hard things, right? Like, and the only way you know that you can do hard things is you've done it for a week, you've done it for a day, and like each time you're doing it, you're doing a new commitment to the program sort of thing.
Absolutely. And I'm sitting here as someone who's also lost weight and my whole life has struggled with that yo-yo. And it's hard to be on the other side too, right? Both sides are hard. So then it's choosing which hard do I want? Which hard am I going to take on right now? And hopefully we can get enough people, like you mentioned, the community where you can be wrapped in support of this Fit Father community to say, come to our hard, come over to this side, right? Like we're all going to go through this hard together instead of a lot of the time it's alone, right? When you are sitting there not restarting and you've fallen off, you kind of internalize the feelings. You don't want to express to others that you've fallen off and you're struggling. So you're going through this hard time alone.
Well, and because of losing weight, right? Or because of gaining weight, right? It's so easy to do that negative self-talk all the time,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like, Akshay was just on and he was talking about how you have to just go the other way. You have to be like, I drank that water bottle. Good job. Like for each of the things, you have to keep saying it because each of those action steps is something to be celebrated. Like, each of those daily selfish goals is something to be celebrated when you actually take them.
Yeah.
And you mentioned letting other people know or whatever. I was always heavy as a teenager, as a young adult, all through adulthood. I've mentioned this before too. Some of you may have heard it, but at some point I thought, what's another 5 pounds? What's another 10 pounds? I'm already fat. I'm already big. A couple more pounds just doesn't seem to matter. So then I also learned to not reach out for help. Just keep it all inside. So I think this time around, I've already got a couple people who I'm trying to be accountable to and actually speak out to more than just Kat. Like my first time around, she was the coach here at the time. And so that was Kat. That was pretty much it. Well, Anthony and Stuart were around too, but Kat was the specific one.
And I lived it. Keep reaching out. I'm still here.
Yeah. So, but this time I've got a couple, outside of the program. I didn't mention it, but for people that don't know, I work at Fit Father now too. So I have an added guilt because I'm like, I work here and I look like this again. So I fight that little battle too. So talking to people and finally being willing to open up about it and put some other people on my team, I think is helping a lot this time around. And I think it's pretty different than what I've done before.
Yeah. And what else do you think is different this time around? Right. I think it's natural to start to compare the two. So is there anything else that you think has been good that you've done differently this time?
I struggle with that question because I've been asked that by those same people, I struggle with that. I think I really am just trying to give myself grace. I'm trying to forget about those things that blocked it in the past and make it happen this time. Little goals. I have smaller goals. I do have some big goals, that are both for me and for others. Changing that, allowing myself to reach out to other people, to acknowledge, I've messed up and it may get hard again at some point, but I just have to do it and not worry about that. Stay in the moment.
Yeah. And it's like messed up is relative, right? I think we get so many messages.
For a guilty person, that's a big thing.
Right? But like so many messages from members saying like, I failed. I fall. And I'm like, as long as you are trying, even if it's just one water, like I'm going to drink an extra 32 ounces of water a day. As long as you are trying, you haven't failed. Even if you're just, like Tom had mentioned, even if you're just watching the app, the Brotherhood, and just kind of lingering, even if you're just lingering and watching, that's something, right? That's still thinking about it. That's not failing. And The only way you fail is if you totally give up and you walk away forever. You can even walk away for a bit and come back. And guess what? Like, that's the beauty of it, right? That this is a lifetime commitment. So failing, it's not even possible. It's kind of how we work.
I always tell people, because I can say all the right things in a lot of time too, but I always tell people anything that you do today that you weren't doing before is a victory. You're moving forward, So yeah, if it is just 32 ounces of water, or if it's taking a 30-minute walk, or if it's going to bed an hour earlier to try and get real sleep, any step that you take is a step that you weren't doing before. And I think Tom mentioned it. It takes a lot to maintain large weight, just like it does. I mean, it's easier because you're eating what you want to eat and you're not worrying about other things. But to get that heavy and stay that heavy, you have to keep eating to stay that heavy. So just backing off really isn't too bad if you can convince yourself that you don't need those things.
And how did the two of you, that's great. How did you convince yourself? What was like the snap, the moment of like, I got to get back at it? What made you notice that?
I think for me, I think health-wise wasn't good, right? Like I think I could tell that health was struggling, right? And that it was truly a what can I do for the family and myself that'll keep me around for a while, right? As a big kind of snap. And also, right, belief that this was a program that would work. And then the last part is like when I first started working the program again, I had reached out and said, is there any sort of coaching sort of thing that kind of goes along with this program or somebody else to kind of talk to, whether it be somebody in the Brotherhood or something like that. And you, Kat, were available for coaching it. And like there are other coaches as part of the program, right? And so I think that whatever it is to have someone else, that you can work with, don't put it all on your spouse. Don't put it all on anything along those lines. Put it on someone who's getting paid to do it, right? Like, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, that's helpful.
Yes.
What you're there for.
And so I think that there is something to that helps, right? With having some sort of accountability there and somebody just to be right. Like, I think I've told you a lot of times I just need to whine to you about how hard this is. And you say, it is hard. Okay, go ahead and go do it again.
Yeah. I say it's hard. You're right. All right. We'll talk about it in a week after you've done more hard things for the whole week. That's perfect.
And that's important, right? Like to know that like, yep, it's hard. I need to be able to tell other people that it's hard, whether I'm seeing the results or not, like just getting that out, right? Because otherwise it's so easy to just get in that head circle being like, these past 2 days, I didn't lose weight. Right? These 2 days, the weight held. The weight went up a half a pound, It is so easy to be like, well, what did I do differently? I didn't do anything differently. And my body disagreed, with whatever I did that day, And body's a funky thing as far as that goes. But if you look at the graph, it's going down if you commit to it, right? And continue making those, what the 80-20 rule, the 90-10 rule, kind of trying to commit more of the right choices than the wrong choices.
The holidays are upon us, and you know what that means. It can be a crazy, stressful time of year. From shopping for gifts, hosting family, and attending endless parties, the pressure can really start to rise. That's why I want to tell you about Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers. This isn't your average magnesium supplement. It contains a full spectrum of 7 proven forms of magnesium to target every system in your body. Magnesium is essential for managing stress and maintaining a calm, balanced mood. However, most people are deficient, which can lead to a poor stress response, fatigue, and even poor sleep quality. Magnesium Breakthrough helps balance your levels so you can better handle the holiday madness. Their unique blend of magnesium citrate, glycinate, taurate, and more ensures maximum absorption and utilization by your cells. This comprehensive formula supports everything from relaxation to energy production so you can power through the holiday season without burning out. Don't let stress and burnout ruin your holidays. Get Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers to give your body the magnesium it craves. It's the perfect gift for yourself or a loved one in this holiday season. For an exclusive offer, go to bioptimizers.com/FitFatherProject and use promo code FitFather during checkout to save 10%. And if you subscribe, not only will you get amazing discounts and free gifts, you'll make sure your monthly supply is always guaranteed.
Craig mentioned the all or nothing mindset. And this is one that, again, members mention all the time. I'm all in or all out. And so I find myself yo-yoing because, you can't be all in all the time, right? Like there is no way, right? Because there's going to be family events that are going to have your grandma's famous casserole that you need to have some for your soul, right? Like it's going to be your daughter's birthday and she made a homemade cake that she wants to share with you, and being able to have a piece. And so I think it's interesting when the all or nothing comes up, because for those of us who have struggled and yo-yoed, I think a lot of us use it as a crutch. You say like, oh, I'm all or nothing, so I'm nothing right now. That's just who I am. I'll be all again. Like it's coming back. Don't worry. I'll be all again. And it gives you almost this like security blanket, because then in your brain you say, I'm out, but I'm coming back. Don't worry. I'm coming back. Yeah. Right. And so
Very much.
Yeah, if we can find that way to tell ourselves, I am not all or nothing. That's a security blanket. I'm going to just be on sometimes, like you said, 80-20. There's going to be that piece of cake that's going to come up and I can have it because I know I can just jump right back on. That's forever. That's the plan forever. And it's going to take longer and it's going to be hard because the scale, it's not some miracle you're going to lose 50 pounds in a month, right? It's going to be slower, but you're going to get to be part of life and enjoy, like you can enjoy all these activities without stress, knowing that you're just going to jump right back in. And telling people, I think that's great too. Like Tom, we will talk on calls and you'll say, we will look forward at the week ahead. What's the situations coming up where you may be in that 20 category, not in that 80 on. And so then it's like you vocalize it, because then there's also accountability of, but I'm jumping back on. Saturday I have this event, but Sunday I'm jumping back on. So finding that person that you can vocalize that to, right? Like who do you tell that to? Which is where I lead now for you guys. You both have very supportive families. And so I would love for you to share how you talk with your family when you're restarting to get that support up and going again, right? Because I know this is a delicate subject. Family doesn't want to push you into it, but I know you both have wonderful, wonderful wives who are there to support you. So what does that look like to make sure you're getting the support at home? I'll have Craig, you want to kick us off?
Sure. When I'm restarting, I just basically declare I'm restarting, and they know what that means. And so they are ready to go. And I think they kind of gauge how serious I am by how it gets started, and I don't do well with like somebody going, are you really going to eat that? You know what? Yes, I am. So I don't really do good with that. So they know better than to make many comments. If I decide I'm going to have a handful of dark chocolate at night or something like that, it's okay. So I just for me, it really is just declaring that I'm doing this, and they usually are really happy to help. I have 3 grown kids who they like being active now, and I was never the active dad most of the time. We would go to a movie or we'd watch a game or we'd do something like that, but we wouldn't participate. So like yesterday I spent 3.5 hours playing pickleball with half my family. That's the kind of thing now, and so that's just so much more fun. So usually they're behind me. I just have to tell them that I'm serious.
And what would you say? You said you don't want someone to like say, hey, don't eat that or don't do this. So for a family member who's listening, who would like to support their significant other or, friend or whatnot, how could someone help them without doing that? Like, what does that mean? What does that look like?
I'm not sure. I'm not real good at that. Just at times, just know not to say anything. Because telling someone you're going to go right back where you were or something, it just sets them down in that hole and starts driving them right through there again. So anybody who's listening, if you can avoid being critical, it's huge, because a lot of us have beat ourselves up enough. We don't need others doing it also. But being supporting and, don't say, well, you don't want that, you want this, but just say, oh, hey, there's some celery cut up in the fridge if you need it, or, something like that. So subtle things rather than just the it's almost like a nag. Don't nag.
And I think that's different for each person who you're going to come across, right?
Yes.
Like, I think that being supportive is all across, right? Like having people in your circle believe in you. But each person is going to want something different. Some people are going to want you to ask, are you really going to eat that? Do you want to eat that? Right? Like some people, that's what they need, right? Like some people need you to break them out of that cycle because it's so easy to get into a mindless habit of eating, right? That you need someone to be like, hey, it's 8:00. We don't eat after 8, like sort of thing. Like if you have somebody at home who's doing the same program or something along those lines, sometimes I think, or asking, are you going to get your workout in today? To me, that was helpful sometimes, right? Like that my wife knew that I had scheduled 5 workouts for the week, and had to do a workout, and it was 9:00 at night and I still hadn't done my workout for the day. And instead of feeling guilty about having to spend time with her, she would say, do you still need to get a workout in? Right? Like that was helpful, to be like, she understands that there is a piece of it. So understanding, I think, where that other person's coming from, I think it is important if you're going to restart that you communicate that you're going to restart, right? Like, or that whatever you're doing. But I think there are reasons that it's hard to believe in yourself when you've been up and down and up and down and up and down. But we know, as I said, don't believe in yourself, believe in this program or something along those lines. Figure out a way, fake it till you make it, right? The understand that doing these actions is something that some people are doing. So I might as well just try it as well, right? that I've tried it before. There's been some success as far as trying it. And so for me, it was more so communicating with them. And then there wasn't because there was a history of the next fad, and the next sort of thing. I think it was just waiting for the ball to drop. Like at some point, like when is that going to happen? I'll just be quiet about it, and then I just kept showing up for workouts, and I kept doing the food the way that I was going to do the food. Even I kept explaining different things. I explained what a fast looked like, so that like when that was actually happening, and then recently or in the past year, I've probably done a bunch of 3-day fasts and stuff like that, kind of explaining that like, this is something I'm doing. I'm okay with it. It's not something that I'm worried about. And just the ability to kind of communicate like why it's okay, what sort of body I'm kind of coming from and those sort of things. And that I was fine, that everything was okay. And then there was more support from the family as far as that goes. But the more you do it, the more belief there becomes from other people around you as well. It's hard for them to believe originally, right? Because they want you to succeed.
Yeah.
They're dying for you to succeed, right? They don't want you to die from health complications from this. And so they definitely want it to go great. But it's hard for them to believe as well. And so sometimes you just say like, this is what I'm going to try right now. And then the more you do it, the bigger that belief becomes in what you're doing, and then they know that you do have the tools.
It's giving grace to yourself and to your family members, right? Like you were saying there, like make sure you communicate and then give grace that maybe they might not support you exactly how you wanted it the first go at it, but talk to them and tell them and communicate, and then you can improve together and create that powerful team.
Yeah.
Right? That's communication. It sounds like that's a big piece, right? You have to communicate to your family or your friends.
Or yourself.
Or yourself. Yes. Pay attention to what's working well for you too, and changing that up as you go.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the moment you start can be different from where you're at 6 months from now. You find out what works and what doesn't. That's a great point. Yeah. In your restart, Craig, like you mentioned, you're more active now, like your family is more active around you. So have you noticed that you're able to jump back into it a little more because like Tom was saying, like the belief is there that like any of your family knows, okay, he can do this. Have you noticed that this time?
Certainly, yeah. Um, if this is any consolation, my restarts are getting closer together. I don't go months and months.
Yes.
So like I did not work out basically at all in December,
Mhm.
but and it wasn't because it's a new year, but that is, it was a fresh month. It was a fresh timing for me.
Sure.
I got started again and I'm doing fine, and so that also means that it comes back faster too. I'm not making myself do a full Apex 10, our first workout. I'm not making myself do a full one just yet because I want to make sure that I'm building up to it. But I did an 8 today, and that's more than I did last week. So I'll be at a 10 in a week or so. It's no problem. I just want to make sure that I'm coming up slowly and not just banging it out and hurting myself again. So yeah, my restarts are getting closer together, and it's all. I really, truly, fully believe that it's all coming together. I have a different mindset this time. So something I had even the first time around, it's different than that. The first time it was like, can I do this? Let's explore this. Now it's like, I know I can do this, and it's time to quit messing around.
That's a great non-scale victory, is seeing the shortened time between restarts. That shows to me that it is a lifestyle change. Like we said, you can fall away for a little bit and then jump right back in. And you're jumping back in faster. That's amazing. And you said that your mindset was different. So was there anything else that you've been working on to change mindset wise to have that different mindset?
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I've been a minister. I'm not currently a minister, but some different studies that I've done, and just trying to focus on me, not just other things. So that's been real helpful. And honestly, one of the biggest things that I don't know where it stands in the scale of things, but I work for Fit Father Project. I represent us at in-person events, and I don't want to go to another event looking like I should have done something more with myself in the mean. That's a different kind of goal again. That's external or whatever. But I want to help people. That's why I decided to come work here to begin with. And I don't want them to go, man, if he's doing that, So yeah, lots of things. But I want it to be the lifestyle. I want it to be permanent, for me, for my job, for my family, for all of those things.
Have you noticed any change in mindset, Tom, for you between the different restarts?
Yeah, I mean, I think this time, as I said, in 21, I was like, I know what I'm going to do. And then I think there is just truly by showing up every day and kind of doing each one of the steps, whether it be drinking the five water bottles, doing the workouts, doing whatever it was, this is who I am, right? Like this is part of me. And then what's the next step, right? Like figuring out what the next step is, as opposed to, I think for me, looking at decades as far as weight, each 10 is important, right? Like for me, that was good for goals, but then not just building all the goals around the weight as well. What can I do on the next workout compared to the previous workout? Whether that timing wise looks like, as you said, Apex 8 to Apex 9 to Apex 10,
right.
Bumping the weights up, all of those things, and just what's next, kind of always kind of trying to do something that's goal related, and what, we talked about the selfish goals for the day, but figuring out those little goals, now we're good at big goals, right? We get what the big goal is. The big goal is to be here for our family and be a great father and be a great husband and all of those things, and want to be active and be just a great role model and all of those things. Got those goals. Understand what that goal is. I get my why.
Nailed it.
That one's right in here. I understand that one. Don't want to die.
Yes. That's a solid one.
Don't want to be on long-term medication. All of those things. Got it.
Sure.
Understand the big goals. They're great. But I think now you can also chunk or look at the next sort of goals, right? Like Fit Father's talking about, not just doing the true fitness goals, right? Like let's talk about the whole person. Let's do the whole thing. And that's part of the program now. Like I think that's huge because I think that's really has to be part of it because you're not just looking for like what's the scale number going to be, right? Like we're looking how can we unlock the best person of us, and that's going to take different goals on each of the things, right? Like your old wheel of development sort of thing. You're kind of trying to figure that out, and I think, whether it be your workouts for the month that you're kind of taking a look at, so things, so that's been a switch. I'm more confident that I can do it, right? Like I feel like I have the tools. Like every time I do the tools are there, right? Like the one tool that I have done every day since being in these 2 years has been water, no matter what. I've had one little anchor. It's been the water, right? All the other things are I know to get anchored to them when I'm really trying to push, and so I think that's important to kind of figuring out. And the more you do them, the stronger those tools feel, right? Like, and you just feel stronger doing them then, right? In addition to physically feeling stronger, mentally you're much tougher.
What are some non-scale victories? So if someone's listening and they've really only focused on the scale, right? So there's the obvious one of like getting a workout in, like that's a victory, like certain workouts. What are some other non-scale victories that the two of you have learned to focus on to help you stay positive and moving forward in your journey?
I'm in a lot less pain. So like I was in pain moving around all the time, right? And so and I think there's the pain of working out, right? Like I understand what that is and like working on building muscles and stuff like that, but there's just pain to move, right? And I don't really feel that. I have more energy to do things, and so like just truly nailing those things and then the big thing is the kids notice. The kids really notice. They're like, "Oh, there's Dad," and they reference it all. There's Dad trying to drag us to be healthier again. Like, here it is again. And now I like salads. Yeah, I'm supposed to drink water. All of those things. Yep. Now we're running. Like I ran a race with Will, and Elizabeth wants to do stuff, and like just being able to do like they want to do something active. It's like sure, going to do a water slide. And it not being like then you got to step on a scale, and are you going to be okay doing that? And what's that going to do? What's the limitations going to be? I think when you guys first came out to Colorado and kind of talked, the thing I told you was that like I wanted to not be the reason why. I wanted to be the reason why we could do stuff instead of not the reason we couldn't do stuff. And I feel much more along those lines, right? Like that I'm capable of doing. If we need to do something, we can do it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. The reason why your family can do something, not the reason why they can't. That's just an incredible statement to continue saying to ourselves. I will be the reason why we can.
Yep.
And Craig, what non-scale victories have you celebrated and have you been watching?
Dovetailing on that, I mean, it is nice to be able to go do whatever you want.
Yeah.
In the summer, I can go ride the roller coasters with my daughter, who loves roller coasters. If we want to go hike somewhere nearby, we can go hike somewhere nearby. We can, I can get in an airplane and feel comfortable even if I'm in the middle seat. I don't like it, but I can do it. It's just so different. I mean, there's just so many things when you realize what you can accomplish through having worked this, through having done the work and getting there. That even when I did go up, I was still way far ahead of where I was when I started, and that's huge too. There's just even if you have the slips, if you step backward, you're still further than you were. And I think to me that was one of my biggest, when I realized that was one of my biggest non-scale victories. Is just, hey, I'm still not 306 completely immobile, not completely, but non-energetic there, so still a huge difference.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I'm going to have you both kind of give a pep talk or your final words for someone's listening who has been thinking about restarting or even just thinking about starting, right? Maybe they've been yo-yoing on different meal plans and different weight loss journeys. So they were thinking about coming here. I would love for you to give them some words of advice. Craig, I'll let you kick us off.
Okay. All right. First of all, I will say that the plan at Fit Father Project makes sense. It is not a fad. That's what made me be successful the first time. You eat sensible and you work out. They taught us that in junior high. I ignored it. Now there's specifics to that, but they are ones that make sense. I don't have to go keto. I don't have to avoid all my carbs. I don't have to, be a vegetarian. All those are options, but I don't have to do those if those aren't for me. So the plan makes sense. And I told people it's easy. It's not simple, but it's easy. And there's a different way to say that. Getting started is always hard. It just is. You have to get your mind wrapped around it. You have to be ready for those initial frustrations or whatever. But once you get going, it just gets so easy because the plan makes sense. And when you first start, you're going to lose 5, 10, 15 pounds pretty easily if you have much to lose at all. And that's an encouragement. Once you start seeing it, then it's hard to stop. And you're more fun watching the scale go down, or your clothes get big, or not breathing so heavy when you tie your shoes, whatever it is. It gets better. So whether it's a restart, multiple restarts, or just your first initial one, just know that if you can get started, it's huge. It gets so much easier after you get going, and it's definitely worth it. I mean, it just is. Like I said, even though I've regained and whatever, I'm still so far ahead of where I used to be, and that makes it worth it.
Awesome. Tom?
Are you ready? I'm pumped about this, right? So redo your mission statement, right? Like that's one thing. Like reformulate the why. Write it wherever you need to do. All of those things. Like I think that's big, right? Like you have to reevaluate the why. Like if you're going back into it, there's a reason that you want to do it, right? Like it's not just to try again. It's there's something bigger, and I think that looking at that is important. I think that find someone to believe in you, or whether it be somebody from the program, or whether it be somebody who's in the Brotherhood. I'm on the Brotherhood. You can reach out to me. I bet you can reach out to Craig. I bet you can reach out to Kat. Find a spouse, whatever it is. Find someone to believe in you, right? Because it's really hard to believe in yourself when you first start doing it. And so I think finding someone else to kind of believe, right? Like I think when I was working the program with you, Kat, you always said, well, I'm going to be proud of you until you're proud of yourself, right? And if you're listening to the podcast right now, and you're watching this, there's something to be proud of, right? Like, cause you're still ready to make that next step. You're thinking about doing something, whether you've done anything or not, like that's important, right? Like to start making those steps. So all three of us are proud of you just for listening to this. And I think then finding what the anchors are that will kind of anchor your program. For me, I told you that water is the one thing I've done every day, no matter what, for the past 2 years. So find something like that you're like, I can do that, that one piece that's always going to kind of keep me connected to the formula of Fit Father. I think that when I've talked to my friend who is a physical therapist who joined the program after me, and he didn't really have a lot of weight to lose, so he just did Fit Father 30 and then OSM. And we've talked about how the program gives you so many different tools so that you can customize it to your life, but you need to find the tools that work for you. So first, try all the tools, and find the ones that really do work for you that you can kind of commit to the program. Like make an action for that day, and stop beating yourself for past you. Past you is a problem for past you, you're working on today's you. So all you have to do is today's problems, right? Like you just have to worry about today's water. You don't have to worry about not doing the water yesterday. Oh, well, you didn't do it. Okay. You didn't eat right yesterday. Oh, well, that one's done. So now I guess you got to eat well today, and so you didn't do yesterday's workout. Do today's workout, do today's walk, and find those different pillars, like there are a lot of people who are much better at that daily 30-minute to an hour walk than I am good at getting into my day. Right. So like, that's one of the things that I'm trying to re-add in to strengthen my program. But like, I think that finding your true anchors of the program is important. And then as Dr. A always says, you can't out exercise diet, right? Like, so you're going to have to do something, that as far as the nutrition goes. And so, Craig says it's easy. It's definitely not easy. He's a liar. It is simple. It is simple, Craig. It is simple.
It's simple, but it's not easy. I said it backwards. You're right. Definitely.
I love Craig, but it is not easy.
I definitely got that backwards.
And so yes, just do the food, right? Like to get the food anchored, do the water, do the timing. The meal timing is important, right? Like we're so used to, it's so easy when you have turned to food as a crutch to turn to food as a crutch, whether it be about something going on in life or about this, right? Like if you're stressed about your weight loss, you're stressed. And so you're still going to turn to the food to solve that problem. And it's not a solution. You can anchor yourself with the healthy nutrition and then it can be a solution. But like turning to food as you're like, gosh, I screwed up again. Let me go get another, binge food or something along those lines. Then you're just creating that cycle to go round and round and round.
Absolutely. That's amazing. When you talk about being proud of yourself, I remember the moment for most members when it switched. I have my moment in my head of Craig, of when he ran that first mile, when he became proud of himself. And so he got to be proud with me. That is the best advice, Tom. Like, I love that, to say, like, find someone else who can be proud of you, encourage you. And the Fit Father community will give you that, because when you email our team, Craig is the one who's reading your email. I'm the one who's reading your email. Jen, Ben, our whole team is here to be proud of you and to cheer you on until you can look in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm doing it. We will be that piece for you. So come join us. Come be part of us, whether you are new and you've never done it before, or you've been here and you are like fallen away a little bit. Come back. Come be with us again. The door is always open. And these wonderful members want to welcome you in. They want to be proud of you until you're proud of yourself. Thank you.
And they will.
Yes.
When you post, they jump on. You get that.
Mm-hmm. And you can say, I've fallen off. I'm coming back in. Be vulnerable. Put it out there.
And they'll all say, same.
Yes. Yes. Everyone will tell you. You're not alone.
Definitely done that. Definitely all done that.
They'll share their story of either where they're at just jumping back in, or what it was like for them coming back in. There is a group of people who want to lift you up. You just have to reach out and tell us. Thank you, Tom and Craig, for being here. Thank you to listeners for listening. We will see you again on the next member chat.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Fit Father Project podcast. If you love what you heard, please rate and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts. It really helps spread this show to more men who need this valuable info. To watch full video episodes of this podcast and other motivational videos to inspire your training and more, visit our Fit Father Project YouTube channel. It's free and everything's made for busy guys over 40 like you. Visit youtube.com/Fit Father Project to get access to our entire video library. And finally, if you or someone in your life is interested in becoming a fit father or needs help losing weight, building muscle, and living healthier after age 40, then visit fitfatherproject.com, where you can see our proven programs, supplement line for guys 40 plus, and free meal plan and workouts to get you started. This is Dr. Anthony Balduzzi signing off. I'll see you in the next episode.